Chewy, slightly sweet, and so comforting. Nian Gao is the #1 thing I look forward to for Chinese New Year. Hello everyone, welcome back to week 5 of Mickey's Kitchen and happy Chinese New Year. Today I will be cooking a recipe that is very near and dear to my heart. It's a modified version of Nian Gao, which is a steamed sticky rice cake that my grandma and now my mom makes for the Chinese New Year. A really good way to cook Nian Gao and really appreciate that chewy, satisfying mochi texture is to actually wait until the cake is completely cooled and then cut it up into slices and then dip the slices of the Nian Gao into egg, kind of like a French toast, and pan fry it. It is so good. My mom did that for me all the time as a kid. And I think it'll be a great way for you to enjoy it too. This is a very nostalgic and special recipe for me because my grandma never made dessert. She was a cooker, she was a very busy woman. She grew up in a fishing boat in China, so she was not one for frivolousness. She was not one for luxury. And baking and dessert is inherently a luxury in this life. But what she did do was make Nian Gao and little sesame peanut cookies in massive quantities for the Lunar New Year and give them to anyone that she ran into. And that meant her grandchildren, that meant her friends, that meant her family. So I'm happy to continue the tradition now with making Nian Gao, these sticky rice cakes. So it's usually steamed, but I will not be steaming them today because I don't have a steamer and I live in a small New York City apartment, and buying equipment is just not always what one wants to do. My grandma was super frugal. Being frugal is in my blood too, so I'm not buying a steamer, okay? That's it, not buying one, but I did find this recipe for baked Nian Gao, which might be sacrilegious, but you know, I want to celebrate the versatility of the Chinese people. Right now I just whipped up some eggs. Now I'm gonna go in with some coconut milk, about 200 grams of coconut milk. I have a scale under here to keep me honest with the measurements. One other thing is, at my apartment I don't have a whisk, so if you see me here with a fork, that's why. Your girl Mickey does not have a whisk. Okay, next I'm just adding in the cooking oil. It's 60 grams of neutral cooking oil, so in my case I'm using canola. I made a whole video about oils and why I do or do not use them. Watch that to see my conclusion. Next up we have the glutinous rice flour. Now I had a huge problem finding glutinous rice flour. I live in Manhattan, so there's a lot of Chinese people here, there's a lot of Asian people here, there's a lot of stuff here. Like, this is Manhattan, come on, this is the city of dreams or whatever. But I kid you not, I went to 4 different supermarkets and could not find it. I went to a Japanese one, I went to an ethnic one up in Harlem. I went to 4 and I could not find glutinous rice flour, but I eventually did just go to Hoshido Market down in, Hoshido Market, I think it was called, in Midtown. And even then, I asked a store person if they had glutinous rice flour, and the guy looked very flustered. I'll give him that. I don't know if he fully understood what I meant, but he said no. And I was discouraged. I was like, oh, I was at a pretty full and well-stocked Asian market, and they said they didn't have glutinous rice flour. And I thought this recipe was doomed. But I put on my detective hat and decided to do some investigation of my own, and I saw this, all in Japanese, but the price sticker said mochi. So I was thinking maybe this is glutinous rice flour, but they just didn't have it under the name I was looking for. When the Google app did an automatic image search, I put 2 and 2 together, and I'm really hoping this is what I need with glutinous rice flour, but I guess we'll have to see how it turns out. Anyway, it's not an easy ingredient. Chinese desserts in general are not too sweet, so this is only 60 grams here. I'm not sure how much that is in cups, but you can be rest assured that this will not be a sugar bomb. Okay, 60 grams there. And then the last thing, the last thing in all of this is just 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder. If you were following a traditional recipe for Nin Gao, you would not have to use the baking powder, but you would not need to use the baking powder because the steaming would be all the leavening that you need. The other thing that the recipe called for was Chinese dates. I could not find Chinese dates. I have a feeling that Chinese dates and goji berries are the same thing, but I could not find goji berries either. So this is not going to have any dates in it. Another ingredient that my mom puts in this is red beans. I could not find red beans. So this is gonna be a bit plain. It's gonna be a simple version of the cake, but you know, it'll still be delicious because it has the most important things. Love. Here we go. It looks kind of like banana bread. It's a nice little picture here. Okay, the batter is ready. We're using these mini loaf pans that I think I found at a TJ Maxx in college. And I'm just adding a little bit of oil here so it doesn't stick because this is a sticky rice cake. It's very gooey, the way that mochi is. So you have to take extra precautions here. Just oiling it up. Okay, and now I'm just going to add the batter. Still using a fork. I don't have a spatula. I need to step up my baking setup here. I'm just smoothing over the edges here. Now for the last step, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds on. This I think is a little bit easier to find. Just gonna sprinkle some on. I love sesame seeds. They're pretty common in Chinese desserts. Now these are ready to go into the oven. Okay, my timer just went off, so I'm gonna check the Nian Gao and see if it's ready. What I'm gonna look for is a golden top. Okay, I think it's all ready now. It's sizzling up in the pan, all 4 of them. They look so good. So unlike a regular cake, this has a very chewy, kind of springy texture. I'm so excited to try. Okay, here it is. Let's give it a taste. Okay, wow, that's so good. It's so chewy and comforting. A slight coconut flavor that's very subtle. It's just enough to know that it's there, but not enough to be overbearing in a tropical type of way. And the crunchy exterior from turning the broiler on for a little bit in the oven is really nice contrast. And the sesame seeds also has a nice little crunch. But oh my gosh, the flavor and the texture is really, it feels just like a warm hug, honestly. This recipe was a huge win. Gung Hay Fat Choy, happy Chinese New Year. I hope you guys have the best year ever. I know I will. I hope you cook more for yourself this year. I hope you cook more for your loved ones this year. And I hope you stick around. Let me know what I should cook next. And have a great day. Yeah.
Everybody, Happy New Year and the best of luck.
Happy New Year. Gung Hay Fat Choy.
Gung Hay Fat Choy.
Let's go. Let's post something.
Like Malaysia.